right here on TV3. I'm going to be discussing what panelists look for during a job interview. If you've ever been to job interviews, then you know it can be quite daunting. You can get nervous. Sometimes the people with the most skills, or we say the brainiacs, the ones who have the brains, sometimes can just fumble when it gets to job interviews. So I'm going to be having this discussion to try and equip you with the tools that, especially from a HR, human resources perspective, what panelists are looking for when you go to that all-important job interview to help make you a success. Joining me for this conversation, I have with me Kofi Ahen, who's a HR practitioner and also been here over the last few days. You're becoming a regular now, actually. We have Mr. Ebenezer Ofori Agbeto, who is the executive director of the Institute of Human Resource Management of Practitioners. So, good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
I think for me, I've been able to get probably at least 2 jobs. One main job not having necessarily the most equipment in terms of the skills, but based on my confidence. I can yab and get myself a job. I've done it before. And then once I got in there, I quickly learned, and because I had the basics.
Smart.
But most people in general, even if they're sometimes the smartest people, those challenge in school, they know everything, they're smart, but when they go to job interviews, they can't even speak, they can't deliver. So just start with you. When it comes to like a panelist at job interviews, generally, what are the key signs you think people are the people are looking for, at least just the basic ones, not your CV, because we know CVs can be embellished and lied upon, but what are the basic things they're looking for?
Obviously they need to first and foremost to verify whether the information provided on the CV is accurate. That they will cross-check with you and get you to kind of articulate, because the truth of the matter is that if you actually wrote it yourself, some people, they get people to write it for them.
True.
So you are expected then to articulate it yourself, and if indeed you did it yourself, it will come out naturally, to flow out of you naturally.
Or you've revised it like an exam.
Absolutely. Even when you've done it, you need to go over and make sure that you're not going to say anything that departs from what you have provided, because it gets to a point that you may decide that this particular information, I need not put it on my CV. So really, when you are there, you need to be sure that exactly what you put on your CV is what you're going to talk about. So they want to check that for a start. And obviously, when you walk in, your appearance, that is an area that you want to check. People walk in, and the first impression is that, oh, he is actually ready for this part, and some people walk in and say, no, they are not ready. Okay, so if you're looking for a job and you go for an interview within a corporate environment, then you're expected to appear there in a certain way. And trust me, I've been on certain interviews where people have walked in and you say, this is not the catwalk, interview that you're coming for. Are you with me? So really, you need to make sure that you have a very good idea of the organization, the culture that prevails in that organization, and that will then inform you as to how you also have to dress and then present yourself. Here again, at an interview, it is about personal branding. That is you. Tell us what you claim you have that will actually meet our demand, our need in the organization. There is a gap, and we need somebody to come in with a skill set to fill it. So if you come and you sit there, we are expecting you. The questions that we're going to pose to you, we are hoping that should elicit the information, that will indicate that you are truly the right person, or you have the X factor. I with me, you got the X factor. There may be other people who have indicated that yes, they are capable of doing, but come in and give us the X factor, because then you start out.
That certain
unique, exactly, thing that can convince us that yes, you are the right person for the job.
Okay, let me ask you, Kofi. Generally, and I think it's a discussion that most people, it's when interviewing skills is not something that most people readily have, unless you maybe go to like a workshop, or I know some people offer them kind of workshops and courses and so forth. So for somebody maybe watching who has an interview next week on Monday, for example, before they get to that interview, what should they do? Because obviously we know what they're looking for. So how do you prepare towards an interview? I actually remember one time I interviewed for a job, was a bunch of interviews, and there was a man who came and looked very nice. He had on a nice suit. But can you imagine, when he entered the reception, there was a stench about him. When he came into interview, we had to leave the door open. And I was like, poor basic hygiene, but he looked nice, but yet his armpits were smelling. So clearly we had to finish the interview after 10 minutes because we couldn't deal with the stench. Things maybe people forget, but what sort of things should you do to prepare yourself even before you go to meet those panelists?
Thanks very much. It is said that job searching is a job on its own. Job searching is a job on its own. Therefore, it's called for preparation. Eben has given a summary of what is being looked out for, and I will top up to say that as an applicant searching for a job, what you have to do in the morning before you set up to even submit a CV to a company that you intend to have opportunity to work with. Your outing should prepare, your outfit alone should define that. Should you go there and then the person you are visiting, maybe the HR department, the manager there, whoever is there happens that, hey, are you ready to be interviewed? You should be able
in that moment.
I have recruited someone who was just about to submit her CV and she was fortunate. My boss asked me that, call that lady, get the interview done, and right there before the close of the day, she had a job. She was prepared in submitting her CV. Okay, so physical appearance count most. You just gave an example of an interview, someone came and you can't smell out. That is very bad. So personal hygiene, appearance, grooming, your outing, your going, everything about you should be prepared like you are going in for the job, because the competition is keen. One of the questions that we normally ask in the interview is that, what will separate you from the rest? You come, you welcome, you introduce yourself to the panel. We want to find out what will separate the boys from the men, or what will separate the girls from the women. So there should be an extension what the panel is looking out for. When the question comes, so
can I just interject in there, because you mentioned that what sort of makes you stand out.
That's it.
However, a lot of times I said not because they're not capable, because of a lack of confidence, or maybe in that interview. I've had people where sometimes they'll give you a very generic answer. So why should you hire you? And then they'll be like, oh, because I believe I can do it, and God will provide, and God is good, and God is good. People say that, and there's nothing wrong with it. But a lot of times when you hear the same answer over and over and over and over, you're not that interested. So how can people tailor their response to be so that it should be so that they have that X factor within their response?
Exactly. Mama, I think with it, just as Gujo said, you will have to do a good preparation before you step in, and that will require that you do some research about the company. Okay, the research is critical. Go on the net. If you can't get that information there, if possible, go to the company itself and ask for information. You need to know who is the director, who are the board members, what is the vision, the mission statement, what's the organizational structure, what makes them meet up to competition. All these are information that you need to arm yourself with, because you need to walk in there and tell them that I'm already part of you.
I know about your company, your history, what you stand for.
Because I'm dear to this and I want to be part of this. I have taken the trouble that now I speak as if I am already here with you. Are you with me? So that you must do. In addition to that, you need to kind of anticipate certain questions that you then prepare yourself for. For instance, if they pose this question to you, what competencies do you possess that will ensure that you are successful when you are given the nod? This, for me, every job seeker must make sure you've sat down and clearly indicated
before you get there. Don't be put on the spot.
Exactly. If you are prepared, you are already in. If you're not prepared, you are already out. It's as simple as that. So the point is, what competencies? The personality competencies, the technical competencies specifically tailored to that particular job, and then the managerial or supervisory or leadership competencies. So these 3 areas, you must make sure that you are in a position that you can articulate it and also demonstrate. And I think that is the key area. Demonstrate that yes, when it comes to, let's say in HR, job evaluation, what is the process? How do you go about it? What are the challenges that you are likely to encounter, and how are you going to overcome those challenges? Performance management system. These are things that you must. It is not about what I can do, but how to do it. Okay. Because when you walk in, it's not about knowing what to do, but it's about how you're going to get it done.
Okay, I want to move away from so-called corporate world, because there's very few Ghanaians in the corporate world. I've had situations where maybe, one time I was at a spa and a lady, very nice young lady, walked in, and I think she wanted maybe a job of like a receptionist. And the owner was like, so she came and also, what's your skills, so and so forth. And I was like, oh, so what do you want to do? Oh, me, I'll do anything. I can do it. Oh yeah, yes, I can be. So it's that whole person that when she walked out, you're not serious.
That's right.
You've come here. I'm asking, okay, you do anything? But that's a lot of times when people are in the situation where they just need a job. They won't walk up to an organization and say, "Oh, me, wherever you put me, find somewhere and put me right."
No.
I know that is wrong, but many people make that mistake daily in this country. Daily. Oh yes. So how, if you're not in the corporate world where there'll be a big panel, but you want to approach a company and say that, okay, one of the things I always used to do is, as a researcher, so even if you don't know nothing about a spa, find out what a spa does. So you walk in like, oh, I know spa, women's beauty and blah, blah, blah. That can sell you. But what kind of things can you advise to people who, not in the corporate world, but yet want to at least get through the door for the manager to take them seriously?
Thanks, Amma. One of the things that we challenge, that we normally come across, as you rightly said, people don't know themselves. Identity problem. Yes. Should I come here and approach your HR department and said, I'm looking for a job, and they ask me, what can you do? I should be able to tell them my unique selling propositions.
Exactly.
What makes me who I am and what I can do in this institution. Okay, I should be able to spell out accurately what I can do there, so that without any doubt they could see that, yes, this person here is exactly what he is saying, and then they were able to. What I'll say regarding the question is that people should know themselves. Number one, know what you are capable, know your makeup, what you can do. You come and they ask you what you can do, you should be able to point out not everything. You can't do anything as
you can't.
You can't. Obviously, you can't.
Find me somewhere. I'll do anything you want me to do. I'll do.
Just let me add to what you just said. People get confused in their search of who they are. I mean, it's simple and basic. One, look at your strengths.
That's it.
Look at what you are passionate about. And for me, if you identify your passion, you're a winner. Because you go extra mile. You go, and you will be seen shining. It's as simple as that. So your passion may not immediately give you the money, but trust me, as your passion drives you and you begin to do whatever you love doing, it will eventually begin to earn you money without even knowing it.
That's it.
I really mean. So know your passion, know where your strengths are, and I will probably say that for the youngsters, please, as you're studying, volunteer yourself to organizations. It could be the
for free.
Next door market, as a supermarket. Walk there, and I want to come and assist. Hang around, just help in parking the provisions, and then you begin to interact with people. You know how to deal with people.
How to do stuff taking.
Exactly.
My second job was in a supermarket.
Absolutely. Exactly. And you have you were building up your skills. You're building your awareness of what goes on within organizations. So let our people realize that they must volunteer themselves, and that gets you ready for the job market. If you just study the book and you think that has made you ready for the job market, I'm telling you, you're deceiving yourself.
But before let me just, because he's just talk about
because we're out of time on this.
The volunteer. People come for attachment and all those things, and they expect to be paid like a full-time staff. No, industrial attachment is for learning. So you don't come there and you be expecting to be paid like one who have gone through the
I used to
process.
don't get travel money. If I used to get like just my travel.
Exactly.
Sometimes like
Exactly.
Transportation or something will be given to you, because you shouldn't come for industrial attachment or internship and expect to be paid your monthly salary like those there be earning. So that's the
another
addition.
thing.
Yes.
Okay, I want to say thank you. The only thing, because we're out of time on this, I might not have to, and maybe another time we'll do another session on this, is honesty. A lot of times people say, oh, everything I can do, and then because you'll be caught, and then you after if you lie,
Yes.
once they know you can't do it, and you haven't learned, you're out. So
honestly, I mean, with that, there's just brief experience that I can share if time.
please, we're kicking me off, so we'll do this another time.
Okay,
I want to
all
say
right.
thank you
Okay.
to my guest. Okay, don't go anywhere. We still have more coming up on New Day.